Yes, and no question, this was a miss. It was disappointing. There were four kind of metrics I was tracking and watching in the quarter, and they missed on three of the four. I think one positive thing was they did provide record guidance for 2022, despite some of the ongoing chip concerns, as you mentioned.
So what does that tell you? They see some light at the end of the tunnel for some of those shortages?
Well, they're probably looking at the same things I am. And when I look back at the auto industry in the last 40 years, over the next couple of years, to me, the outlook for the vehicle manufacturers in North America is better than it's ever been. I mean, this is the first time in history coming out of a downturn that the auto industry isn't faced with the prospect of restructuring cost, restructuring revenue or product, and restructuring balance sheets. Chip and Ford are in great shape on all three of those fronts heading into 22, 23, 24, 25. And the underlying demand trends are more positive than I've seen in 40 years.
How does their lineup, vehicle lineup, stack up versus key rivals?
Well, I think obviously the market's very focused on what their electric vehicle lineup is, and Ford has a very different strategy. And they also have the benefit of two of the strongest brand names in the marketplace. Mustang has a historically strong brand name, and the F-150 has been the #1 selling vehicle in the United States for decades. And they're electrifying both those products. The Mustang has been very successful. Production in 2021 was about 20% higher than targets at the beginning of the year, despite the chip shortage. And you have over 200,000 orders for the F-150 Lightning. So that's positioning Ford to be among the leaders in electric vehicles over the next 2 to 3 years in the U.S. And I think 2 years ago, if somebody had said that, they would have been laughed at.
No, and that explains, I think, a lot of the rise, right, Michael? So what do you want to hear on the call?
The value of Rivian kind of distorts their balance sheet, and because it shows up in their cash and marketable securities, and you get a big bump at year end, so that kind of distorts it. But Ford ended the year with about $7 billion of net automotive cash if you take out Rivian, and they're going to generate another $5 to $7 billion in surplus cash this year. So this is a very strong company. And so what you want to hear on the call is you want to hear just very direct comments, where they missed, where they made up, and those three of the four items where I feel like they missed, where was I wrong? And, does that change my investment horizon?
Michael Ward, thanks for joining us. Good to see you.
Thanks very much.